The scream pierced through the soft murmur of Friday night conversations and clinking silverware. "Daddy, please help her!" Chloe's fingers dug into Dennis Walsh's calloused palm as three broad-shouldered men in slate-gray suits hauled a woman across the checkered floor. Her designer heels caught and dragged, leaving black scuff marks on cream tile. A crimson thread unwound from her temple, staining the collar of her silk blouse. Around them, forks paused midair. Conversations died. Eyes shifted away like guilty secrets. Dennis felt his 7-year-old daughter's pulse hammering against his wrist, felt the weight of her gaze burning into his weathered face. He was nobody now. Just a janitor in a faded work shirt who scrubbed toilets and packed school lunches. The warrior he'd once been had flatlined 3 years ago in a sterile room that smelled of antiseptic and goodbye. But his little girl was watching, waiting. 2 minutes rewrote everything. 3 bodies sprawled unconscious across blood-spotted tile. Dennis clutching his shoulder as red seeped through denim. Security footage capturing every lethal movement. Dawn brought 1,000,000 views. Noon brought a midnight black sedan with tinted windows and government plates. The man who stepped onto cracked pavement wore Admiral stars that caught the sun like shards of ice. Dennis Walsh's invisible life had just combusted. What rose from the ashes, neither he nor his daughter could predict. 20 minutes earlier, Dennis had been cutting Chloe's chicken tenders at their corner booth. Rosie's Diner, vinyl seats patched with duct tape, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. He came here twice a month when his $9 an hour paycheck allowed small luxuries. Chloe wore her favorite yellow dress, talking about her second-grade teacher, about butterflies. Dennis listened like his life depended on it. These moments were everything. The Navy had taken 12 years. His wife's illness had taken 3 more. What remained belonged to the little girl across from him, ketchup on her chin. The woman who would change everything sat 3 booths away. Polished, professional. Dark hair in a neat bun, laptop open, expensive briefcase at her feet. Dennis noticed her only when Chloe pointed out her necklace. Their worlds never intersected, until they did. The 3 men entered at 7:42. Dennis registered threats despite 3 years of trying not to. The heavy one first. Neck like a tree trunk, suit straining across violent shoulders. The lean one moved with coiled tension. The third hung by the door, scanning. Classic containment formation. Dennis's hands tightened on the plastic knife. Not your problem, not your fight. Just keep cutting chicken tenders. They moved on the woman's booth with deliberate purpose. Heavy one blocking exit. Lean one at the end. Third by the door. The woman looked up, and Dennis saw recognition. She knew them, had been dreading them. Her hand moved toward her phone. The heavy one placed his palm over it, gentle from a distance, knuckles white with pressure up close. "Daddy, those men don't look nice." Chloe's voice pulled him back. Her instincts were better than most adults. The men were muscle, enforcers, the kind Dennis had faced in places where violence was Tuesday. "They're probably just talking business, sweetheart." But Chloe wasn't eating. She was watching. So was Dennis. The conversation escalated. The woman shook her head. The heavy man leaned forward, vein pulsing. Lean one's hand dug into her shoulder hard enough to make her wince. Other diners noticed. Conversations faltered. A couple fled. The waitress picked up the phone, set it down, when the doorman stared. Fear was thick as grease smoke. The woman tried to stand. The heavy man grabbed her wrist, yanked her down. Her coffee toppled, brown liquid spreading. She cried out, loud enough that everyone heard, and chose nothing. The waitress ducked into the kitchen. Dennis felt something crack open, something sealed in concrete, and prayers and promises to his dying wife. "Daddy, they're hurting her." The woman was on her feet. Both men gripping her arms, moving toward the back exit, heels dragging, leaving scuff marks, blood running from her temple. Her eyes swept the restaurant, searching for help that wasn't coming. Her gaze locked with Dennis's. No plea in it, just acceptance. That acceptance broke him. "Daddy, please help her!" Chloe's voice cracked, and Dennis saw his daughter's face transform. Fear and confusion, and something else. A test. What kind of man are you? What kind of father? What am I supposed to learn? He saw his wife in the hospital bed, whispering, "Teach her to be brave. Teach her to be good. Teach her that good people don't look away." He'd promised. Dennis stood, bent to Chloe's level. "Baby, get under this table. Stay there no matter what. Can you do that?" She nodded. Navy kid understanding orders. She scrambled under, curled tight. Hands over ears. Dennis turned toward the three men, and the person he'd buried climbed out of his grave. 12 steps, each one a choice. By step 3, breathing shifted to hell-week rhythm. By step 5, vision sharpened, peripheral awareness expanding. By step 7, muscle memory flooding back. By step 9, calculating angles, weight, weakness. By step 11, he knew how this would go. By step 12, the janitor disappeared. What remained was the weapon. "Let her go." His voice cut silence. The three men turned, assessed, dismissed. Faded shirt, calloused hands, gray hair. Not a threat. The heavy one smiled. "Walk away, old man." Dennis noticed the bulge under lean one's jacket. Gun, 9mm, right hip. Doorman had shifted. Another weapon, heavy one, relied on size. That made him first. "I'm going to say this one more time." Conversational, almost friendly. The tone made the smile falter. "Let her go." The lean one's hand moved toward his jacket. "Last chance. Turn around. Walk away." The hand on the gun almost there. Dennis counted heartbeats. 3, 2, 1. He moved. Heavy man went down first. Dennis closed distance, drove palm upward into nose base. Cartilage crunched. Blood exploded. Head snapped back, eyes rolling white. 1.5 seconds. Lean one got gun halfway out before Dennis was inside reach. Left hand clamping weapon. Right driving strikes into throat and solar plexus. Gun clattered. Man couldn't breathe. Folded into rising knee. Breaking pottery sound. 2 down under 4 seconds. Third man processed. Gun out, rising, finger finding trigger. Time slowed. Dennis sidestepped, grabbed briefcase. Swung. Caught wrist as weapon discharged. Deafening. Bullet punched ceiling, tile raining. Dennis closed, trapped weapon arm, flipped man over hip. Hit floor hard. Dennis stomped hand. Bones snapped. Man screamed. Gun skittered, but third man wasn't done. Came up swinging, caught Dennis's jaw. Concrete fist. Stars exploded. Blood taste. Man was trained. Good. Through combinations, Dennis blocked on instinct, giving ground. Kidney shot got through. Elbow split cheek. Younger, faster. Maybe special operations. Recognized what Dennis was. Eyes went wide. Recognition. Fear. They circled between overturned chairs. Man fainted, kicked for knee. Dennis turned, took impact on shin, pivoted inside guard. Close quarters. Elbow to temple, palm to ear. Drum ruptured. Man howled, stumbled. Dennis pressed. Third punch got through. Bridge of nose. Man grabbed steak knife, lunged desperate. Dennis saw blade, couldn't avoid completely. Knife caught shoulder, sliced through denim, skin, muscle. Pain sharp, bright. Blood-soaked shirt instant, but man overextended. Dennis trapped knife arm, rotated, drove him face first into table edge. Branch snapping sound. Man went boneless, slumped. Knife falling. 3 down. Dennis stood in wreckage, blood running, breathing hard. 90 seconds. Felt like hours. The woman pressed against wall, hand over mouth, eyes wide. Around them, frozen. No one moved. No one helped. Just watched a janitor dismantle 3 armed men. Routine, mechanical, terrifying. Fear in their faces. The real danger might have been the quiet man cutting chicken tenders 2 minutes ago. Monster. Recognizing monster. Chloe. Dennis dropped beside the booth. She was curled tight, hands over ears, eyes shut. Baby, it's okay. It's over. Slowly, she lowered hands, opened eyes, looked at father bleeding, trembling, looked at bodies, looked at staring customers. Her face cycled emotions, fear, confusion, recognition, pride. She launched at Dennis, wrapped small arms around neck. You saved her, Daddy. And Dennis held his daughter and bled and wondered what he'd just done. Sirens approached. Someone had called despite fear. The woman moved toward Dennis on shaky legs, knelt beside them. Thank you. They were going to kill me. I would have disappeared. Thank you. Crying now, mascara running. Dennis nodded. Words impossible. Shoulder on fire, hands shaking. Chloe pressed against him, trembling. My name is Veronica Hayes, CEO of Hayes Defense Technologies. Those men work for a competitor. Threatening me for months, trying to force me to sell proprietary information. I went to police, but no evidence. I thought I was safe in public. She looked at unconscious men, back at Dennis. Who are you? What are you? Nobody. Just a father having dinner. But Veronica shook her head. That wasn't nobody. That was someone very dangerous who chose to help. She pressed a business card into his hand. When police come, tell them everything. Self-defense. You saved my life. I'll make sure that's clear. After, call me. I owe you. Police arrived. 6 cars. Lights painting red and blue. Officers poured in, weapons drawn, shouting. Dennis set Chloe aside, raised hands, turned slowly. They tackled him anyway. Face hit floor, hands wrenched back, cuffs bit wrists. Chloe screamed his name. Veronica shouted he'd saved her. Witnesses babbled, contradicting. Chaos. Security footage told its story. 3 men forcing woman. Dennis intervening. Self-defense. Surgical precision. Handcuffs came off. Paramedics tried checking his shoulder. He pulled away, went to Chloe, gathered her up. I'm sorry, baby. I'm okay. Everything's okay. But she wasn't crying from fear. She was overwhelmed. Her father had been one person at dinner, someone else 2 minutes later. Detective Ramirez separated them, took statements. Dennis told everything in flat monotone. She watched with cop instincts, screaming. You handled 3 armed men like you'd done it before. Military? Dennis said nothing. She sighed. Navy. Long time ago. Training sticks. She didn't believe him but couldn't prove otherwise. She let him go. Dennis collected Chloe, ignored stares, walked into night air. They took a cab home. 4th floor walk-up, elevator broke in 6 months. Dennis carried Chloe upstairs despite screaming shoulder. Unlocked their 2-bedroom with thrift store furniture and crayon drawings on the fridge. Home. Safe. Except it didn't feel safe. Felt like shelter that could blow away. He got Chloe ready for bed in silence, teeth brushed, pajamas on, tucked under star blankets. She looked up, eyes too serious. Daddy, are you a superhero? The question nearly broke him. No, baby, just your dad. She considered, nodded. That's better than a superhero. Eyes closed, asleep within minutes. Dennis sat on bed edge, watched her breathe. Shoulder throbbed, knuckles swollen, blood dried in palm creases. He should shower, care for the wound. Instead, he sat and watched, and felt every choice settle like physical weight. He'd promised himself. Promised his dying wife. No more violence. But it wasn't dead. Never was. Just sleeping. Now awake, he didn't know how to put it back. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. The video was online. Someone filmed the fight, posted to social media, everywhere. Showed Dennis moving through 3 men like water through stone. Precision and lethality. Comments exploding. Who is he? Where did he learn that? Someone would identify the restaurant, identify him soon. The invisible life crumbling real time. Dennis watched 3 times, saw himself from outside. A killer. Controlled, efficient, terrifying. What he'd always been. He deleted the video. Didn't matter. Out there now. By morning, millions of views. By noon, someone would recognize him. By evening, press knocking. Everything falling apart. Dennis looked at sleeping Chloe, at their apartment. At the small, quiet life they'd built. And he'd destroyed it because he couldn't walk away from screams. Because his daughter said, please. Because his wife made him promise good people don't look away. Sleep didn't come. Dennis sat in kitchen, cleaned blood from fingernails, waited for dawn. Shoulder needed stitches, but he couldn't face emergency rooms and questions. Wrapped it in gauze, took ibuprofen, made coffee he wouldn't drink. Night stretched forever. Every car engine made him tense. Every footstep spiked pulse, waiting for consequences, judgment, the universe collecting payment. Morning came gray and cold. Dennis made pancakes shaped like hearts. Orange juice in favorite cup. Chloe came out rubbing eyes, climbed into chair. Moment felt normal. Then she saw bandaged shoulder. Illusion shattered. Does it hurt? He smiled. Tried making it real. Not too bad. Mistake. Her eyes went wide. When did you have worse? First question of many. How did he explain? Before he could answer. Knock at door. Firm. Official. Dennis felt blood pressure spike. Moved to door, checked peephole, man in hallway. Late 60s, silver hair, military short, dark suit, perfect Windsor knot. But the bearing told everything. Ramrod posture. Eyes missing nothing. Absolute confidence. Lapel shifted, revealed stars. Admiral. Navy. Here. Now. Dennis's hand froze on doorknob. How? Then remembered the video, his face showing technique from specific training. Someone ran facial recognition. Someone in military or intelligence saw and wondered. Now they knew. All careful anonymity evaporated in 90 seconds of footage. He almost didn't open. Almost pretended not home. But Chloe watched from kitchen. Running would confirm suspicions. This was inevitable from the moment he stood in Rosie's diner. He opened. The Admiral's eyes met his. Recognition flared. Petty Officer First Class Dennis Walsh, or former. Voice was gravel and iron, accustomed to obedience. I haven't gone by that rank in 3 years, sir. Voice neutral. Then what do you go by? Admiral's gaze flicked past Dennis to apartment, to Chloe, to humble surroundings. Just Dennis, just a father. Admiral nodded slowly. May I come in? This shouldn't happen in a hallway. Dennis wanted to refuse. But you didn't say no to admirals. He stepped aside. Admiral entered. Apartment shrinking around his presence. Moved to kitchen. Chloe looked up from pancakes, wide eyes. Good morning. I'm Admiral Raymond Brooks. Old friend of your father's from Navy days. Chloe glanced at Dennis, who nodded. He's not in trouble, is he? Because he was helping someone. That's not bad. Admiral's expression softened. No. What he did was very brave. Dennis moved beside daughter's chair, hand on shoulder. Protective. Chloe, go play in your room. Admiral Brooks and I need to talk. She hesitated, looked between them, slid off chair. But before leaving, she turned to Admiral. My daddy's a good person. He takes care of me and works really hard. Whatever you want, You can't take him away. Then walked to room with dignity. Door closed softly. Brooks watched, turned to Dennis. She's protective. Dennis felt something twist. She's all I have. I know. I pulled your file after the video. 12 years exemplary service. SEAL Team 7. Missions I can't discuss. Exemplary record until resignation 3 years ago. No warning. Your wife died same month. You left to care for your daughter. He paused. Question is, what happened next? How does a decorated SEAL end up pushing a mop? Dennis met gaze. I chose my daughter over career. I don't regret it. Brooks nodded. I'm not here to judge. I'm here because last night you demonstrated skills that don't rust. 3 armed men in under 2 minutes. That video has 7 million views. Every news outlet running it. Social media calling you everything from guardian angel to trained killer. People asking questions. Who is he? Where did he come from? I'm nobody. Just did what needed doing. Brooks pulled out phone, showed screen. Ms. Hayes is important. Her company develops defense technology, cutting-edge systems. The men who tried taking her? Foreign intelligence operatives. You didn't just save a civilian. You prevented significant national security breach. Dennis felt cold. I didn't know that. Just saw someone needing help. Brooks pocketed phone. That makes you valuable. Still have instincts. Still have training. But also judgment to use correctly. Rare. I'm offering a contract, consultant work, security assessment, training programs, work from home, own schedule. Pay significantly better than janitorial. You'd serve your country again. No. Harder than intended. With respect, sir, I left that life. Can't go back. Brooks raised eyebrow. Even if it means better life for your daughter? Better schools, neighborhood, college fund? Words hit like body blows. Brooks knew where to aim. Dennis thought about peeling paint. Schools barely scraping by. Nights doing math that never added up. That's not fair. Voice rough. Life rarely is. But consider, you'll be famous by tonight. People will track you down. Some thank you. Some exploit. Some see threat. Anonymity's gone. Wouldn't you rather have resources to protect your daughter? Turn disaster into something positive? Dennis wanted to argue, but every word true. Video viral. Press would find him. Invisible life already ended. What kind of consulting? Question felt like defeat. Brooks smiled, understanding not triumphant. Assessment of security protocols, review of training programs, occasionally, situations like last night, protective services. Nothing overseas, nothing taking you from your daughter. Everything legitimate, legal, well compensated. You'd help make sure other good people are prepared to protect civilians when it matters. Before Dennis could respond, phone rang. Unknown number, he answered. Mr. Walsh, Veronica Hayes. I wanted to thank you again. I've been in contact with police. All charges against those men being filed. You won't worry about retaliation. Dennis glanced at Admiral, watching carefully. Thank you, Ms. Hayes. She hesitated. There's something else. Press has identified you. They're calling from my office. I've refused information but wanted you to know. Prepare for media attention. I appreciate the warning. Voice steady despite dropping stomach. Ms. Hayes, do you feel safe now? Worried they'll try again. Long pause. Honestly, terrified. They have my address. Know my schedule. Last night was one attempt. There will be others. Dennis looked at Chloe's closed door, thought about his own daughter's safety. I'm going to give you a number. Someone who can help. Met Brooks's eyes. If you're serious about that contract, make first assignment ensuring Ms. Hayes has proper protection. Admiral's smile slow and genuine. Already arranged. As of 0800, Ms. Hayes has security detail. But offer stands for you, Walsh. Think about it. You have my number. Moved toward door, paused with hand on knob. Your wife would be proud of what you did. Sometimes protecting people means using skills we wish we didn't have. That doesn't make us monsters. Makes us prepared. Then gone, and Dennis was alone with choices getting heavier. He checked on Chloe, sitting on bed, not playing, waiting. When he entered, she looked up. Are you going back to the Navy? Question so direct it took his breath. No, baby. But might do some work with them, from home. Would mean more time with you, not less. Maybe we could move to a nicer place. She considered seriously. Would you have to hurt people again? There it was. Real question. The one he dreaded. Dennis sat beside her on bed, chose words carefully. I hope not. But if I had to, only to protect people who can't protect themselves, like last night. Like that woman. She nodded. Mommy used to say you were a hero, before she got really sick. Said you saved people. Dennis felt throat tighten. Your mother was generous. I was just a soldier doing my job. She shook head, emphatic. No. She said you were different. One of the good ones. That's why she loved you. Tears burned behind eyes. Your mother saw best in everyone, especially me. Chloe reached out, took bandaged hand in both hers. Daddy, I was scared last night. But I was also proud. Is that bad? Am I bad for being proud you could fight? Question nearly destroyed him. No, sweetheart. You're perfect. It's okay to have complicated feelings about complicated things. What I did was necessary, but also violent. It's okay to feel multiple things. She nodded, processing. If someone tried to hurt me, would you fight them? Words came instant, reflexive, absolute. I would do anything to protect you. Anything. She smiled, small but real. Then I'm glad you know how to fight. But more glad you know when not to. 7 years old, and already wiser than most adults. His daughter, his whole world. Rest of Saturday passed in surreal normalcy. Lunch, laundry, school project. But phone kept buzzing. Messages from neighbors who'd seen video, friend requests from strangers, news outlets requesting interviews. By evening, reporter showed up at building, knocked on doors until someone pointed out which apartment. Dennis didn't answer. Closed curtains, pretended invisible one last time. But story was out there, taking life of its own. Mystery hero janitor. Single dad saves CEO. Narratives written without his input. Sunday morning brought more attention and another visitor. Veronica Hayes, accompanied by 2 serious men radiating professional security. Different in casual clothes, more human. Dennis opened door reluctantly. Ms. Hayes, you didn't need to come. She smiled, strained. I needed to see you, thank you properly, and give you this. Held out envelope. Dennis didn't take it. If that's money, I can't accept. Smile became genuine. Not money. Scholarship fund. For your daughter. Full ride through university. Through my company's charitable foundation. You can't refuse because it's not for you. It's for her. Dennis looked at envelope like it might explode. That's too much. Veronica's expression hardened. Mr. Walsh, those men would have killed me. You stepped in when no one else would. Risked your life and daughter's safety to help a stranger. This is least I can do. Don't insult me by refusing. Words gentle but firm. Dennis thought about Chloe's future. College funds that didn't exist. Opportunities he couldn't provide. One condition. Keep this quiet. I don't want media attention. Don't want to be a story. She nodded immediately. Complete privacy. You have my word. He took envelope. Inside was legal document outlining trust fund, covering undergraduate and graduate education for Chloe Walsh. Amount made vision swim, more than he'd make in a decade. Thank you. Thank you. Veronica squeezed his hand briefly. Thank you for giving me future to live for. And Mr. Walsh? Admiral Brooks called yesterday. Mentioned you might consult. If you decide, I'd like to retain your services. My company needs security protocols reviewed. Properly, by someone who understands real threats. Someone I trust. Left her card, said goodbye to Chloe, who'd emerged shyly. Left with security. Dennis stood holding 2 business cards and legal document that changed everything. Life he'd tried to build was gone, crumbled to dust. But maybe something better rising from ashes. Maybe his wife had been right. Maybe you couldn't run from who you were. Maybe the trick was learning when to be warrior and when to be father, understanding sometimes those weren't contradictory, sometimes same thing. Protection, service, putting others first. Maybe that was lesson Chloe needed. Not that violence was good, but sometimes good people had to be capable of violence to protect vulnerable. Monday morning, Dennis made phone call. Brooks answered second ring. Walsh, I was hoping I'd hear from you. Dennis looked at Chloe eating breakfast, backpack ready. I have conditions. Work from home. Set own hours. Nothing putting daughter at risk. Nothing illegal or morally questionable. If I ever feel this is pulling me from being her father, I walk away. No questions. Pause, then warm chuckle. Those are conditions of someone with priorities straight. Agreed. Welcome back, Walsh. Not to Navy, but something better. Service on your own terms. Paperwork came through in days. Consultant contract, direct deposit, benefits, including health insurance he couldn't afford. First assignment, reviewing security protocols for Hayes Defense Technologies. Work he could do remotely, analyzing reports, making recommendations. Pay for 1 month equaled 6 months' janitorial wages. Dennis gave notice at Morrison Office Complex, worked final 2 weeks. Security guards who'd shared coffee knew why he was leaving. Always knew you were more than a janitor, Walsh. 6 weeks after that Friday night, Dennis sat at desk in better apartment, in better neighborhood with better schools. Chloe thriving, making friends, talking about advanced art program. Scholarship fund invested, growing. Ensuring future he'd stopped dreaming was possible. Shoulder healed completely, leaving scar he'd explain when she was older. 3 men from restaurant charged with attempted kidnapping, assault, working as unregistered foreign agents, pled guilty, serving federal time. Media attention faded as newer stories captured interest. Dennis Walsh became footnote, viral moment that burned, bright, then dimmed. But some things didn't fade. Mothers at new school who recognized him and crossed streets. Uncomfortable with violence he represented. Nightmares that came back sometimes. Dreams of missions and mistakes. The moment every time Chloe looked at him when she thought he wasn't watching, studying with wise eyes, reconciling gentle father with warrior she'd witnessed. Those were part of package now, part of cost. Every choice came with price. Protecting daughter meant using skills he wished he could forget. Building better life meant accepting help from institutions he'd fled. Peace meant being prepared for war. One Sunday in late autumn, Dennis and Chloe drove to cemetery where her mother was buried. Brought flowers like every month. Chloe placed them carefully on granite headstone, while Dennis stood back, talked to memory. I kept my promise, teaching her to be brave, to be good, to help people. I hope lessons aren't too complicated. Hope I'm not damaging her. Wind scattered leaves. No answer came, but he hadn't expected one. Dead didn't speak, just watched, hoped, trusted, living to figure it out. Daddy? Chloe looked up, squinting in autumn sunlight. Do you think Mom would be proud of us? Questions so direct, so vulnerable, stole his breath. Dennis knelt beside daughter. Eye to eye, chose truth. Yes, I think she'd be proud of how brave you were, how kind you are, how you see people who need help. Proud of how we take care of each other. Chloe nodded seriously, wrapped arms around his neck. I think she'd be proud of you too, for helping that lady, for being strong when you needed to be. Dennis held daughter in cemetery, felt complicated tangle of grief and hope that defined his life. They drove home as sunset, painting sky amber and rose. Chloe chattered about book report, about friend's sleepover invitation, about butterfly that emerged from chrysalis in classroom. Normal things. Beautiful things. Life Dennis fought to give her, using skills from different life. Pulling into new apartment's parking lot, Dennis realized something. He wasn't running anymore. Wasn't hiding from past or pretending to be someone he wasn't. Just living. Being father who happened to have specific capabilities. Being consultant who changed diapers and made pancakes. Being both things because life was never as simple as choosing one identity. That night, after Chloe slept, Dennis reviewed security assessments at his desk. Work was interesting, challenging, important. Used his mind in ways janitorial never had. Let him contribute without deploying. Paid him what he was worth. Let him be home when Chloe woke from nightmares, needed homework help, wanted to tell him about her day. This was the balance. Not perfect, but functional. Not what he'd planned, but what emerged from wreckage of other plans. Phone buzzed. Message from Brooks. New client requesting consultation. Small firm, similar threat profile. Your choice. No pressure. Dennis looked at message, at Chloe's closed door, at scar on shoulder visible beneath t-shirt sleeve. He could say no. Could focus only on work he had. Could keep head down, capabilities hidden. Or he could help. Could use what he knew to make sure other good people stayed safe. Could turn specific skills into something positive. Choice was his. Service on his own terms. He replied, "Send me the details. I'll review and decide." Answer felt right. Not retreat, not full engagement, but measured. Sustainable. Warrior when needed. Father always. And maybe both things weren't contradictory. Maybe two sides of same coin. Protection. Love. Willingness to stand between danger and those who couldn't defend themselves. His daughter. Strangers in restaurants. People who needed someone to care enough to act. That was his calling now. Not the one he'd trained for, not the one he'd chosen, but the one that had chosen him that Friday night, when a little girl said please, and he couldn't walk away. Dennis saved work, shut down computer, checked locks. Old habits. Then did what he did every night. Looked in on Chloe, adjusted blanket, kissed forehead while she slept. She stirred, mumbled about butterflies, settled into dreams. Dennis stood in doorway watching her breathe. This small, perfect person who'd saved him as much as he'd saved her. She was his mission now, his purpose. Everything else was details. Consulting. Money. Capabilities he couldn't erase. They all served one objective. Give this child the best life possible. Teach her to be brave and kind, and strong enough to help others. Show her that good people don't look away. In the morning, there would be breakfast and school drop-offs and work, client calls and security assessments, and ordinary magic of a life rebuilt. There might be more threats, more situations where Dennis had to choose between safety and helping. Would definitely be more questions from Chloe as she got older, more complicated conversations about who her father was. But tonight, in this moment, everything was quiet. His daughter was safe. Rent was paid. Tomorrow was full of possibility. This was enough. Not the life he'd imagined, not the story he'd thought he was writing, but it was his. It was real, and he would protect it with everything he was, because some promises were worth keeping, no matter the cost. Some people were worth fighting for. And some transformations happened, not through grand gestures, but through small choices made in fear and love and desperate hope. Dennis Walsh had been a SEAL, been a husband, been a widower, been invisible. Now he was something harder to define, but no less true. A man doing his best to raise his daughter, right while carrying weight of capabilities he couldn't erase. A father who'd learned that sometimes protecting innocence meant deploying violence you'd sworn to leave behind. A human being trying to balance complicated truths nobody prepares you for. That was his redemption. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just the quiet, grinding work of being good enough, of showing up, of loving his daughter and helping strangers, and making peace with all contradictions that made him who he was. And if that was enough for Chloe, if she could look at him and see someone worth being proud of despite scars and secrets, then maybe it was enough for him too. The night deepened. The city hummed beyond windows. In her room, Chloe dreamed of butterflies and safety. Dennis finally slept, dreamless for once, weight of the week settling into something like peace. Tomorrow would bring its challenges, but tonight, they were safe. They were together. They were home. And in the end, that was all that mattered.